Hey everybody, I just wanted to hop on. I know I didn't really give any notice or anything, but I wanted to show you guys when I had a second how to do some basic graphics in Canva. So this is going to be, I think I showed a while back, just some briefly how to use it on a phone. I'm going to show you how to do it on a computer now that I know how to. I got some software and I can stream easily on a live now to show you. So if you watch this as a replay or if you hop on live, say hi and then let me know if you have any questions, because I can answer questions even if you're not on live. So the only tricky part is that my Canva is the paid for version of it. So there may be a few things that you can't access, but I think for the most part, the stuff that I'm going to show you, you'll be able to access. So if Canva is a free app and it's a website, so you can use it on your phone or a desktop or a laptop or a tablet, you just need to make an account and you can stick with the free version. So there are a lot of different programs you can use for making graphics and things like that, or adding names to mail fees and stuff like that. When I first started, I started with WordSwag. WordSwag is free as well, but for their free version, it was watermarked, so it always said WordSwag in the corner. So I switched to Canva because it didn't have the watermark on the free version. So their difference is, hi Nicole. So WordSwag also has a paid version. I just started with Canva, or I switched to Canva for the free app, the free version that didn't have watermarks, and then I ended up liking it a lot, and then I switched to the paid version. And the biggest, one of the main differences with the paid version is that you have access to more like graphics and photos and stuff, and fonts. When you have the free version, it shows you a little like crown, or I don't know if it's a dollar symbol, some sort of symbol that indicates that those things are only available when you are when you have the paid version. So there's probably different levels of everything as well. So hey Nicole, I don't know if you use Canva yet, but I'm going to show people how to use Canva if they're interested in making their own graphics. Even simple, I'm just going to start with some simple graphics. This is what Canva looks like on a desktop. I think it's easier to use. You just have a lot more space. You can make your window even bigger than this. But since I'm doing the split screen, so there's a ton of things like templates that are already made for you, and you can just insert your own graphics, insert your own text. I tend to just make my own, start from scratch. So if you navigate up here, these are going to be your templates. You're going to want to pay attention to what you're making as far as the size and shape of it. I tend to default and make mostly Instagram posts because I like everything in the square format. Facebook posts are rectangular, like a short kind of horizontal. But obviously I like doing Instagram posts, then I know they're squares and they look square on all the platforms. So that's just my personal preference. The only exception is if I make a cover photo for a party, I just pick Facebook covers. They also have different, like if you go into, hold on, let me see here. If we want to go into templates, if you go into social media and you scroll through, there's Instagram stories. There's Facebook covers. There's going to be, YouTube, all the different platforms. Facebook event covers, which is different. So I like to use those for some of my sales I run. So there's all different formats. So you can click and you can see the different shape. So that's kind of important that you're paying attention to what size. When you're in the document, you can switch size once you've started. If you realize you're doing it, it's not what you wanted. So templates is a whole area that I really don't use, but I was just going to show you basically you can take, you know, anything that you see here and then like, okay, like this is a cute Hello February. We can customize this super easy. So you click on the template. The one thing I don't like about Canva is it opens a new tab every time you, like, I don't know. I end up having like a bunch of tabs open across the top. But anyway, it's not a huge deal. So when you get when you have a template that you're going to use that's pre-existing, you can see, like, you can edit what this is a block of text, and this is a block of text. They're two different fonts, and these are set up in this little format. You can change this. You can add text on top of here. You know, you could add, this is not going to be like a legit. So to add text, you click on the left-hand side and click text. And then you can decide if you want a big header, a subheading, or tiny like body text. So it's going to be small. Because I'm just going to put something up here, I'm going to go ahead and click header or heading. And then, so I have to click off of it and click back on in order to drag it up here. And then I like double click until I get my cursor where I want it. Or you can just keep it highlighted, hit delete, and put like, we could put mail fee, mail fee challenge. And then I don't like that font. So what you're gonna do is you can adjust these little different menu choices up here, all the different fonts and different ways you can edit this text that you just put in. So it looks like, the one thing nice is it shows you these first three are the ones that are right now on the graphic. So hey gotcha is this hello, and then the February is this whatever this says. So like you can change it, and then there's a few ways, so you can change the font to match. There's a few ways you can change the color. The size. You can use the plus button here. You can actually select and then scroll and say, okay, I want to see how big that looks. And then you can also grab a corner and stretch it out to fit. So you can use however you want to adjust your size. And then for color, I like double click so it's all highlighted, and then go to this little, the A with the little rainbow below it. If you see here, it defaulted and showed me what the color of this other text is, so that's super nice. And then, or if you look down here, this photo has all these different shades in it, so you could decide to pick up like this dark red. It defaults and shows you that. So, so this is like a quick way you can alter an existing template. So let's say you wanted to add a photo. We're gonna go to, so let's say you wanted to add a photo, one of your own photos. So we're gonna do that first. So I have a bunch in here already. You're gonna go to upload, because let's say you don't have anything in here. We're gonna go to upload. We'll go to nail pics on my computer, which is being slow right now. Oh, I wonder how my streaming looks good. So, all right, we're just gonna pick this first photo that comes in because it's the first one. So this is where all of your uploaded photos will live. So you can see here, I upload the thumbnails, so I can use them in graphics. There's a couple ways you can select. You can like click on it and drag it in. You can also just click on it and it'll pop up here. Again, then you'll use your the corner. I don't know what that's called. Those little dots on the corner to like move it around. You know, let's say we want it in front of these hearts. I don't know. This is not how I would actually make this, but you know, just to get an idea. So sometimes there, if you hold something and like are dragging it around, that purple line will show up, and that'll show you the center of the graphic to help you line things up. So that's, I mean, I wouldn't keep it like that, but so let's say, okay, let's say I'm going to keep it like that. I want to add a little border around the edge of it to make it pop. So there are a ton of elements that you can add there. So the top row is recently used ones. This one is graphics, basically, or shapes and lines. So you can see here, you can click see all, and there's going to show you all these different shapes you can add. So I'm going to add a rectangle, or a square, and then I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than that. But now you have to change, to make it go behind this other image, you need to change the position and just say backwards. And then you can see how it drops behind the Nailfee picture. So I'm gonna see what it looks like white. So I clicked on it and I changed it to white. So, okay, so there's tons and tons of graphics or different shapes. You can come in, these graphics are elements that are like illustrated. So like a cartoon, more cartoony look at graphics. Photos are self-explanatory. You can insert videos. You can actually make videos on here. I'm not going to get into that today. I haven't played around with it too much. Tables are like a spreadsheet type graphic. Frames are fun. So frames are a little different than just dropping in an uploaded photo, but you can do the same thing. So I could have done like, okay, so let me see. Let's go to frames. I could have done like this, sort of. So this looks like an old picture, you know, like a Polaroid or whatever it used to have with that border. You can take a picture that you've uploaded. So I'm going to do and then, sorry, I forget to explain things. If you click on it and hold it down, you can drag it into the frame, and then it'll pop up into that frame. And then when you resize it and move it, it's attached to that frame, if that makes sense. It's like it's their one now. You can easily switch them out by just like dragging a new one in there. So you can replace them super easily. So if you're doing, if you're doing something where you want to keep a graphic and then just replace the images as they change, that's a good way to do it, is using frames. When you click on the frame, if you hit delete, it should just delete the inserted image, and then if you hit delete again, it'll delete the whole frame. There's also something that you guys are going to like. I'll make a new thing, so hold on. Frames are pretty self-explanatory. They're all different shapes. Grids are similar. So anything with that little sky background thing like this means that you can insert a picture or images in here. So a grid is like a collage here, and they're all the same shape, like to fill your whole background. And then the frames are all different shapes. So you have all different choices, if that makes sense. So you can do all sorts of fun things. But this is where you find, so people do, I'm going to show you another one from scratch. So this is how I build, like, especially my Nailfee challenge things. I'm going to start over. So actually I'm going to close this out. So it automatically saves stuff for you. So when you go, so like it saves as you build things. So if I go to home, it shows me recent designs. It doesn't always update it in the thumbnail, but when you click on it, my recent design, if you click on it, the most recent version will be there. You can recover stuff. I'm going to show you that because that's kind of handy. So you can go to version history. Oh, you know what? That's a thing that's a paid thing. So do you see how and so is resize. Okay, so the version history has the little crown by it. It was a yellow crown. Unless you have the paid version, you don't have the option to do a version history, which is basically if I had made a mistake and I wanted to go back, even after closing it, you could do that. To reverse something when you haven't gone out of the image, like let's say I put this here, I don't know, and I put this here, and then I decided, I don't know, you can go back using this button. this back arrow, you know, those reverse things. You can't go back a saved version unless you have the paid version, I guess. So, and I guess you can't resize within here. So you have to pick the correct size before you build the document. So I'm going to close out of that. I am going to show you how I start from scratch with most of my templates. So I just go to templates, go to Instagram posts, and then I hit create a blank Instagram post. So you can do it however you want. You can spend hours scrolling through these templates. A lot of these are pretty cool, and you can just replace the photos, replace the text. You can delete what you don't need. You can add to it. So one of the ways that I make my like monthly nail pick graphics is I start with a blank template here, and then I often use a photo. So what I'll do is like type in, so like for February, I will type in February and I'll look. And then I usually select at the top here. So this is going to show you everything. If you go to photos, it's going to narrow it down to photos only. You can also narrow it down more in this, with this filter by doing like just squares, but I actually don't like to limit that. So like, this is super cute. I've seen other people using that in other graphics. So I just dragged that into this to fill up my background. If you click on it and hit crop, you can drag it around and move it however you want. You can make it bigger by grabbing the little corners. So you have some flexibility. If you don't like where something comes in automatically, you have the ability to change that. So like if you wanted it more centered here, if you liked it off to the side so there's more room, we'll just center the thing. That's cute. Okay, so centered-ish. So then we will, what I like to do is, there's a couple different ways I build my monthly nail pick images. So in order to make a new search, you have to X out what you were searching. I like to use a shape. So I tend to use these two a lot, or just a basic rectangle. But like if you drop in a shape like this, and then I make it slightly smaller so there's a border of that image behind. And then you can adjust color, but you can play with the opacity here. Oh, sorry, the transparency here is what it's called. That's this little checkerboard graphic that goes from light to dark. You can adjust, see how you can make it see-through so you can see the image below it. So what I tend to do is if I use a black shape, this is a dark gray shape, I can switch it to black, I can switch it to white. So by making it white and playing with the transparency, it's going to help when you put type over it that is dark. So in reverse, if you make it a dark background, and as you're making that part of the image darker, it's going to help with the text when you place text above it if you want to have like white text. So we'll just do this for now. We can adjust this as we go. I'm going to go back out. I'm going to go to text, and we're just going to put a header in here. I like that my emails are popping up. So we're just going to do February. That's how I have to like spell February. Sound it out. And I always call them nail pick challenges, not nail feet challenges, but I know most people call them. Okay, so this is what the words are. I'm gonna kind of center it. I'm gonna select all and go in and play with the fonts. So font choices. When you click on the font, you're gonna have what you used most recently. So if you tend to use the same font, everything with the little crown on it are only available with the the paid version. So, but there are tons that are available without the paid version anyway. So, I mean, you can just scroll and scroll and scroll. There's lots of fonts. Okay, that's the one thing I like about. That's pretty. The one thing I haven't used that before. The one thing I like about Canva is I feel like the fonts and all the stuff, you had a lot more options, especially even for the free options. So I like to make, let's see how big we can get this. And then again, to center it, if you can drag it around and look for those. The dotted lines mean it's close. The solid lines means that it's like completely centered. I play around with the font. I tend to like white. If it's not legible, I'll click on the shape I had put in the background, that like rectangle or that square shape, and you can darken it a little, and you can still see that image behind it. So that's kind of what I do for a basic like monthly nail pick challenge. If you wanted to design your own, I like to use photographs and then layer it. There's frames too, so let me go back to elements. I used to just type in frames. Oh, not frames, sorry. I'm thinking borders. So there are borders. I love this gold one. I always use this. I mean, I use this one a lot. But like, you could add a gold border around the whole thing. You know? I mean, it just kind of, these little design elements you can add. Some are animated. Like, you could add like moving polka dots. So when you save in, what is this? In Canva, you can save it. It defaults to a PNG, which is a it doesn't compress the graphic. Like a JPEG is a compressed graphic. Most things, PNGs are fine for Facebook. Sometimes they get a little big, but if you need something smaller, you can use a JPEG. But anyway, hold on a second. Okay, so I just want to make sure everything is still streaming fine. But if you have an animated like thing like this, it'll save it as like a little movie, a little MP4. So you just have to be aware of that, which is fine. Facebook can still upload those. Like, but see, wouldn't that be cute for Valentine's Day with the little dancing hearts? I didn't realize it was even hearts. But there's like a ton of. So like when you click on this, so like if you see here, when I clicked on this cute little animation, it shows you like magic recommendations. It shows you suggestions of things that are similar. So it takes you this whole world here. I mean, there's just a ton. I mean, like you could add that. I mean, that's just a lot going on. But why did my light go off? That was odd. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that, and I'm actually gonna delete that too. There's a lot of movement. So one thing that's really fun that people like to do, and I've noticed in some of the graphics groups, the people use these a lot, is called letter frames. So I just literally type in letter frames. I go to graphics, and it's not... All right. So sometimes you have to scroll through them. I wonder if it's better if I go frame letters. Well, it's the same difference. Okay. Oh, it was a little faster. So what you're looking for... Oh, hold on. Maybe I do need to go to all. Okay. I guess keep it on all. Frame letters. You're looking for these guys. These letters that have the background with the little landscape, the sky and the ground. See? All of those. And I don't know how to organize them, like how to get them so it's just those and not all this other stuff. So they make really a block letter version, and apparently they have other writing, whatever that is. And then they have like ones with, this is called a serif font and a sans serif font, but the serif fonts are like fancier with like little tails and stuff. See how like the V versus the block. So it's a little tricky because sometimes you can't find all the letters really easily, like letters and numbers, but you scroll through and they're all there eventually. So like, let's say we wanted to make the word February. So I drop, so see how this like comes in this giant F? I will scale it down small. And I don't really know how small I need it until I get all my letters there. But, so I like that fancy F. I was scrolling too much without paying attention. Hold on, let me scroll back up. I should probably not be too picky for the demonstration, but Alright, I gotta find... I want to use capitals. I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, let's see where... Alright, I know I want this B because February has a B in it. So what I like to do is, as I'm grabbing them, is I'm resizing them based on the letter I did before, using those guidelines. And then Feb, we'll use the U, even though it's not in the right order. Again, just use the guides as good as you can. I'm gonna have to make it all smaller, but I'll get them lined up and then I'll make them smaller. And actually, man, I'm being picky for the demo. Sorry. I am such a perfectionist. All right. The fonts are slightly like different widths. Okay. February. So we find the E, an R, and an A, and a Y. But I like the capitals. So there's an R. I wonder if there's a skinny R. We'll use this A. Oh, there's the R I want. Okay, so A. Again, resize it based on the first letter. February R. Alright. So this, I'll show you this. February. Oops, I need 2 R's, don't I? So one thing you can do is you can copy and paste in this. I'm on a Mac, so I know it's a click. Apple C is copy, Apple V is paste. There is, I don't know if there's a copy and paste. How do I do that here? Oh, click on this, duplicate. It makes another one. Okay, that's the better way to do it. So click on whatever you want to duplicate. Click this little duplicate button, and it'll make another one for you. I don't want a lowercase y. So this is the only trick, is finding out the letters that look nice together. There's a Y. Is there other Y's? There's a better Y. Skinnier Y. What was my other letter? I need an E. Probably missed it, so hold on. Maybe not. And there's the E I want. I have not missed it. Okay, so once you get all the letters the right size, you can space them out, keep them in line. And actually, they're not going to be too far off. Alright, so what you want to do, once you get them lined up, in order to resize them, you want to select each one. So in order to select more than one object, you hold Shift and click on it, and then I hit Group, and that's going to group them together to move them as one thing. February. Okay. So, like what I'll do here. Okay, so I'm going to delete the February. I'm going to bring this down. So it's going to read February Mail Fee Challenge. And then you have to fill in these little frames. So how I like to do it is I clear this out. I usually click on backgrounds or something, but you can, I like to use like the glittery ones. So sometimes I'll just type in glitter. Oops. The glitter. Go to photos, like you can find, oh, look at that fun. And then you just drag it into here. Like, so see where my cursor, wherever my cursor is, like that arrow, you have to select the empty space of the letter in order to fill it. Does that make sense? Thing can be filled. So, I mean, you could change it to gold. That might stand out better. Purple. You can just see what, I don't like the purple. You can just see what looks best. Try different backgrounds. There's really pretty, oh, this is a pretty thing. I don't know how that would look. Sometimes if it's too much variation, there's not enough contrast. One thing to make a good graphic, make sure you have everything, make sure everything is legible, excuse me, and make sure everything is good contrast. So if you're using a white font, make sure the background's dark enough that you can the white will stand out, and vice versa. Another glitter is a keyword I like to use. I also like to use watercolor because you get a lot of pretty backgrounds and stuff with that. So you can see that might be a fun one. It looks like tie-dye-ish. Let's see if I switch it up. That's softer. Maybe I like the softer look. Let's see what this one looks like. And you can do all different ones. Let's see what these different. So, do you see what I mean? You can kind of just play around and have different backgrounds. But the letter frames are fun. You see a lot of the graphics groups. Graphics have letters that have glitter in them and fun things. That's how they do it. Let me see. I don't know if you. I don't even know if anybody's on besides. Is Nicole still on? I'm not sure if anybody has any questions. Oh, I can show you how to do nail feed things. So this. Oh, I'll show you how to finish everything. So this. So this is all done. If you want to add your own group name, if you want to watermark it, when they say don't watermark things, don't get rid of my watermark. Basically, what they're doing is they're taking a little font of some sort. So I usually say, if I'm making ones for the team, I'll put Team Chic and Sassy. If I'm using just for myself, I'll say Chic and Sassy. I can't spell nails, and then I just double click. I tend to use, there's a font that I tend to use for my watermark stuff, all my nail feeds. It's called Happy Girl. I just like it, and it's tiny as I'll get out. So I like to use that, and then I just make it really tiny. One thing people do with watermark too, so you can just make it tiny in the corner here. It should be subtle. It shouldn't take away from the graphic. One thing you can do too, besides just making it small, you can also make it transparent a little bit. So if you have a font and you can't see all the really different options, I'll go over what all that stuff means too. But you go in here, there's the 3 dots means more. There's more options. So you can just make that subtle, even more subtle by adjusting that transparency down, so that it's just a little watermark in the corner. Again, you need to put it someplace where you can actually read it a little bit, but it's not too crazy. I hate when they make huge watermarks on things. But anyway, so that is one of the ways to make, or a couple different ways to make, the monthly nail pick graphics. Obviously, same thing applies if you want to do, a sale. Anytime you want to do it, buy 3 get 2, any sort of sale you want to run. All right. Oh, one thing about fonts. So this is this big nail feed challenge font. So you have, I'm pointing my cursor. I'll use my cursor. So you can have up in the corner, you have the option to change your the actual font. You can change the size. You can change the color. This is bold, italicized. This is when you select. You have to have things highlighted. So select all. You can adjust right, left, the justification, if it's centered, right or left. You can make it a list, which adds the bullet points or the numbers. You can adjust spacing. So letter spacing is the distance between each letter. So if we wanted it stretched out, or if you wanted it like this, maybe having it a little spaced out like this makes it a little bit more legible. You could do that. This is your line spacing. See how the lines get closer and farther away. If you didn't like that they overlap right here, you can make them lower. So you can do whatever you want to fill up your space or whatever. So just make sure your font and your stuff is legible. I kind of a rule of thumb for graphics in general is to not use more than 2 fonts, 3 at the most, depending if there's a really special reason to do so. That just helps with legibility. And generally, like these scripty fonts, you don't want to use for like the body of like the instructions for something or the details of your sale. Use the fancy fonts to get the attention to say what your sale is, but the details like, shipping $3, you need to buy 3 get 2 online, or buy 3 get 1 online. All the instructions should be in a more simple font. I mean, there's definitely there's so many options in here too, so you can definitely find something. Let me see. I was going to go over another thing. What was that? Oh, nail fees. So, making sale graphics. So, like, I don't know. It's not any different, really, than making these. If you didn't want to use a photo, so let's see, we have this. I'm just going to back up. Okay, so we don't want to use a photo. You can use really cool backgrounds like this. Again, I like looking up watercolor because you could look up like spirals. I mean, you can search for like, look at how cool these are. I mean, you could use, there's so many, there's just so many different things. Galaxy, I've used, like what a cool background that would be. So, when you drag something, you can control where it drops. Versus if you just click on it, it just shows up as a graphic and you have to like stretch it out to fit. And again, with the background, when you drag something, when you hit crop, you can adjust what part you're seeing. So like, that's kind of fun. I mean, like, so there's tons of options. We're going to do February. Let's do a inventory sale. Or let's do an album sale. So I would probably fix this font so it's a little bit more legible. And it's kind of a fun one. And then let's do, I'm just going to play around. I have no real, we're going to do gold glitter in here to make it pop against the black background. You could put album sale in these like fun crazy letter things too, but okay, so, and then, like I was saying, use a font that isn't going to take away from smaller in or whatever. So, this is the one I just used. I usually would keep it the same or just do something simple like that to do all the instruction, like first to claim, mine gets the set, like you just put your rules, whatever you want it to be, $10 each set. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. I'm going to say $4 shipping on orders of 3 or more, blah, blah, blah. So just this is how you would do a simple sale. Must pay via Venmo or PayPal in 24 hours, something like that, whatever you want it to say. So just make your rules. I do have to say, making your own graphics is helpful because it helps create original content for your page. Photos and actual pictures with less text are probably seen better in general. All right, so I'm going to go back to home here. Actually, I'm going to close that tab because there's 1,000 tabs that stay open. I'm going to open a new one. And then I'm going to show you really quick how I do nail fees. And nail fees aren't hard because you just basically drop in. You need to upload your photo. So you find it wherever it is on your computer. And then, drag it into here. If you drag it in the right spot, it gets all centered. And then you just add your font, or you add your type, your text. So you can get however fancy you want. Can't spell. I'm not going to do all of them, but this is, your basic. Keep diving. That's pretty. There. Oh, I would probably make this white to make it white text, and I would make it a little smaller because you don't want it huge. So, maybe that's too small. Anyway, you get the idea. You could make your whatever list of fonts across the top. People do it all over. Just make your watermark small. Yeah. So that is. Oh, here. Let's see. Sorry. Let me. If you guys that are on, Vanessa. If you actually have any questions, let me know. I just did the kind of the basic. Nothing fancy. Oh, I should show you these. These are always fun too. So, all right, hold on. I'm gonna get rid of that. Get rid of that. Let's go to this back. Actually, let's do this background. Okay. When you go to text, there are these super cool. These are like templates, So like. They've already exist. So you can change, and if we wanted to do, sorry. And then I would just make it smaller until it actually fits on the thing. And you can stretch it out a little bit. So if you stretch out the sides here, it'll help you. I have to mess with the things, the spacing. Oh, wrong thing. Oh, it's not this. How do they have this? Oh, hold on. I'm going to ungroup this so I can separate them, and then I can move it however I want it. And that's not a good color because you can't see it. We'll just make it black for now. We'll make it gray. So you can take something that exists and then just change the words to whatever you want it to be. So again, that is like ginormously spaced out really wide. So then we go boop. It's really tall. So it's probably not the font you'd use, but you get the picture. So you can use these existing fonts and the existing like cute things, and then just change the color and change the wording. Oh, one thing I'm going to show you with things like this. So let's say you love that font and you love how this looks, but you need to you want to separate them. So you select it and then just go to ungroup. But another thing to edit, so if you see here, it's yellow, the font is yellow, but then it's like orange, there's a little shadow. So when you click on the A, this controls the actual font, like the main color. In order to adjust the effect, which is what makes it have that drop shadow, you go to effects. And that's where this changes, so you can make it have like the blue. You don't want yellow because that's not contrasting, but that's where they adjusted the orange. That's what it looks like, purple. So that's where you get to adjust the shadow and any sort of element. You can change it and have it more of like a glowy effect, so it has a drop shadow behind it. This is how you make it neon, make it all these different This is how you make curvy letters. See? Okay, that's weird when you have both of these on, but yeah, let's turn that one off. We'll give it a shadow. We can make it glowy and curvy. That's too illegible. But see how you can play, and then you can play in here and adjust the actual curve shape. And this is actually crooked because it is rotated. And how you unrotate things is with a little arrow. So hold on. So this is how you spin things around. And it tells you like degrees you're at. So if you wanted it straight, you didn't like it at the angle. But I made this glow instead of have that shadow. So that's, you can just mess around with all. These are some pre-designed text looks and stuff. So it's pretty fun. Like for those neon sets we had, a lot of people use all this neon and this girly stuff. So anyway, those are fun little tricks. Hopefully, even if you used Canva, you learned something. I will be available to ask questions if you have any. And then if there's other things you want to do or want me to show you, let me know. Two things. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to go back to my home page. When you go over here to all designs, it'll show you every single design you've ever done. So alright, let's pretend this is what I wanted. So I'm going to take this, and in order to save it, you're going to go to download. So this is where I was saying PNG is a larger file size. It's the highest quality. JPEGs are going to be a lot smaller, but sometimes if you do a JPEG, you could like increase the size here. If it looks too pixely, or too like low res when you look at it. So you just go, like, I just kind of keep it at PNG, what it sets for, download. And then it just goes into my download folder on my desktop. I don't know where other computers go, but you'll have to find out, but I'm sure it's like some sort of download. If you're going to make it, so like, let's say I'm having a girls' night, and I wanted to use this is like my theme. It's going to look like the space theme. I would go ahead and like make my thing and save it, but you can make a duplicate by making a copy here, and then it opens a copy of that first one, and then you can keep this. Let's say let's say it didn't say February, let's say it said girls' night in, and then you can just change it to be like, how do you know the hosts, and then you can save that and then make a copy, and then so you have all of it just saves you time because you don't have to rebuild this every time. You just make a copy of it. So that's a tip you should use if you're going to make repeating or like use the same theme in a graphic. Another thing, one of the main reasons two reasons I purchased the brand or the upgraded paid version is you could import your own fonts. So you could import the compliant color street fonts, and you have to do that with the paid version, and you can cut out backgrounds. So what that means is I'm going to show you those. Let's say I wanted to, I wanted to add a picture of myself into this graphic, okay? So Julie has done trainings about having your picture in your group, showing your face off so people get to know you. But that looks kind of lame. So when you have the paid version, you can do this lovely thing, which is remove background, which you select the image, you hit edit image, you literally click on BG remover, which is background remover, you let it run. And it takes a little bit. It has some thinking to do. And ta-da! It has cut you out of your background. So you can actually go in and erase more. So like, this is like a weird edge of my chair versus the shadow. It looks like it makes my shoulder look a little big, so I cut a little of that off maybe. Maybe my frizzy hair, stuff like that. Maybe I'll get rid of more of this. I don't know. But if you get rid of too much, like I said, oh shoot, I accidentally did that. So you just go to restore, and it brings it back. It's pretty nifty. And then you can adjust your size of your brush if you want to get really picky at this. But whatever. Hit done, and you can readjust it. You can flip yourself around horizontally. Whoop. If you want to do from that, if it looks better on this side of the page, you could flip it around. Whatever. So that is how you do that. That was one of the features I bought this for, is to have this. And then the other feature was to import text, which is go down to text. No. Where was that? I know, sorry. You click on this. Then you hit upload font. And then you can upload a font, and that's how you get to the that's how you upload the compliant fonts. They are found on the VO, so you can download them to your computer, and then you need to upload them. If anybody has the paid version and doesn't know how to do that and actually has questions, I can show you. I think if I open the VO, I can show you where it is. Let's see. Oh, all right. Sorry, this got longer than I intended. Okay, so I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna go to stylist assets. I have to remember where it is. Brand materials, fonts. You just hit download, and all of these are the 3 fonts that are compliant. It's those files, and then wherever those save on your desktop is what you'll find when you go to upload. And here, you click on this font, and this menu pops up, and it shows upload font. Click upload, and then you have to find wherever it brought it. So for me, I already have these in here, so I don't need to do this, but I will show you branding identity, fonts. Oh, I have one extra. It's another compliant font, but so then you just grab all the files that you would want uploaded into there. But I already have them in. And that's actually too high. I got like a Star Wars font for free, and then that's what these are. So I've uploaded that as well. So, oops. All right. Anyway, that is it for tonight. I will answer questions if you have any. Basically, the best way to learn Canva is to play around with it. So, just kind of, you can watch what I did, and hopefully you can learn a few things to get you started, and then just play around. The guidelines to help you center things are awesome, and to line things up. There's probably a ton more I can show you, but for now, this is what we will end with. So I will hopefully be able to do a few more trainings like this, and you guys can just watch them whenever you have a chance, because it is hard to get everybody available in one time. I am going to do some live trainings and some Zoom calls where people that will schedule ahead of time, and it'll just have to be whoever can make it at that day or time. We'll record everything or do them live, and then so people can watch on their own time. But I am going to start going through the questionnaire, if you fill that out, to see what people are needing help with the most. So that is my goal this year, is to do a little bit more training within our own team page. So, all right, have a good night, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, as always. Oh, I do want to mention there was an email that just came out tonight with with some new changes in our policies and procedures, and it has a link to our full version of the policies and procedures for both the U.S. and Canada. Canada does have their own now, so you should definitely download those or bookmark them and save them, and then we will, I'm assuming Julie and some of the upper uplines will go over the changes, as will corporate, I'm sure. So anyway, check those out. Take care. Bye now.